Hello everybody, welcome back to a new video, and today I'll be talking about the character of Nicky Roth from the game Hello Neighbor, and how he went from being a traumatized kid who moved out of his neighborhood after an incident with his neighbor Mr. Pearson, and then later overcoming his trauma and fear after reaching adulthood. Hi, my name is Sumi, and if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe. This video took a lot of effort to make, and now let's get on with the video. Before the events of Hello Neighbor, Nicky Roth was a regular kid living in the town called Raven Brooks, and then one day he saw another family actually, moving in right next to him as his neighbors. The people were Theodore Pearson, his wife Diana, and his two children, Aaron and Maya. Nicky quickly became friends with Aaron and Maya, and they would play together regularly until they both disappeared one day mysteriously. Nicky began to investigate his neighbor Theodore Pearson to look for Aaron and Maya. He and his friends gathered a lot of clues that indicated to him locking up Aaron and Maya in the basement, which Mr. Pearson was locking Aaron up in the basement. After Theodore found out that Nicky knows about his secret, Theodore got scared that Nicky would inform the police about Aaron and decided to lock him up in the basement as well. After Theodore Pearson locked up Nicky in his basement, he stayed there for a couple weeks minimum, seeing that his shoes have been torn out and there's a hole in his sock. But Nicky would somehow manage to finally escape to the basement and see what's happened to the house. Later, he found a key and managed to escape Theodore Pearson's crazy new house and went back home and informed the police on Theodore Pearson and the fact that he locked him up in the basement. Nicky, now grown up, is living in an apartment far away from Raven Brooks because of all the childhood trauma and terror he faced there. We later get an eviction letter saying that we need to move out of this apartment. Nicky is kind of scared and bummed out about this because it means he has to go back to his neighborhood, to the same neighborhood where he got kidnapped as a little kid and he has so much trauma with. He later packs all his stuff and things, books, and many other things and food, and then later goes back down to Raven Brooks. Nicky later comes back to Raven Brooks after a long road trip. When he comes back, the first thing Nicky sees is the neighbor's house and all the other old houses. But the neighbor's house comes in particularly eye-catching to him because the neighbor's house is now demolished, and the neighbor has seemed to have moved out, and then he parks in front of his old house, which has now been run down and boarded up with planks. Nicky later goes to Theodore Pearson's house to try to face his childhood trauma, but he would only see a mysterious black figure which is causing him a little dizziness, a little eye-itching, so he quickly runs back to his own house to try to get away from whatever is happening in Theodore Pearson's house, and when he gets back, he hears a phone ringing. Nicky, after opening the door to his house, observes everything and remembers all the memories he had here and picks up an old picture of himself, remembering all the old times he spent in this town, until he sees something outside the window. And later, he hears the phone ringing, so he picks up the phone again and hears no one talking, until a car drives by and he sees a mysterious shadow figure again. And the shadow figure again causes him dizziness, and then Nicky decides it's best to just lay down and have a nap. But then when Nicky would wake up, he would see that Theodore Pearson has come back to the neighborhood and upgraded his house to make it really big with a train station going alongside it. He then later sees that Mr. Pearson is kidnapping more children. As Nicky moves on throughout the house, he tries to face with all his childhood traumas that he had as a kid, which were still bugging him and bothering him. He later defeats all his childhood traumas, and once he unlocks the basement, he finally faces Mr. Pearson and locks the door behind him in the place where he got trapped as a kid. Nicky then later runs through a door which shows him a giant version of Theodore Pearson. his childhood trauma and nightmare. Nicky would later find a really young version of himself like he was at the times of when he lived in Ravenbrooks and played with Darren and Maya. He sees himself playing with a bunch of toys he once had, and then he later sees a ginormous shadowy figure outside the window and his childhood self being scared of the shadowy figure. Nicky now knows he must protect his younger self from the shadowy figure and defeats the shadowy figure. He later then gets teleported to a weird area where he sees the neighbor being captured in a small house and asking for help, and the person who captured him there was the shadowy figure. Nicky later wakes up to just know that it was all a dream and the neighbor really didn't move back. And this is, guys, how Nicky overcame his childhood fear and trauma. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.